Have you ever wondered what's going on outside in our environment, or why plants and animals do the things that they do?
If so, then join us on an adventure as we explore nature in our own backyard. There are wild things happening outside right now that you probably don't even know about.
I'm Joshua York, and this is my friend Erin Roykamp. We're both naturalists for Five Rivers MetroParks right here in Dayton, Ohio, and welcome to Wild for Ohio, where we're going to learn all about our environment and ecosystems. Today, we're going to be learning about the incredible story of birds, their migration, life cycles, and how to identify them.
Migration is a pattern of behavior in which animals travel from one habitat to another in search of food and better conditions in order to survive. Birdwatching during these periods of migration will allow you to see a wide variety of species. This is because some birds are traveling through Ohio and just using it as a stopover along their migration journey, like the magnolia warbler, while other species are migrating to Ohio, like the dark-eyed junco in winter and the ruby-throated hummingbird in spring. Lastly, some species will remain in Ohio and be seen in your backyard year-round, like cardinals and blue jays.
For birds, migration is all about access to food. Ducks and eagles need access to unfrozen water to find their food, and many of our colorful birds of the treetops need insects and other small creatures. During the spring, our days are getting longer and our nights are getting shorter. This is called a change in photo period, and birds are highly sensitive to it.
In the spring, males make the long journey of migration, often back north, before their female counterparts. When they arrive at the breeding grounds, they begin competing for and establishing their territories. The bird songs that we often find so peaceful are actually their way of competing for the best territory. When the females arrive, they observe which males have the most desirable territory, making them a more desirable mate. However, courtship also takes place, where the males do their best to impress the females beyond the territory they've secured. This can often look different depending on the type of bird, with some species even putting on elaborate displays or dances.
For many of our songbirds, raising their young represents a tireless marathon. Parents are relentlessly looking for food to feed their hatchlings, and after a few weeks after they've flown away, sometimes doing it all over again. Many songbirds, including cardinals, robins, and bluebirds, will raise up to 3 families in one summer. In the fall, as our days get shorter again, the birds prepare for the long journey back to their wintering grounds by eating as much food as they can and store up fat for the long flight south.
Our birds are struggling for a wide range of reasons, from habitat loss, reduced food availability, and even climate change. Millions of acres of bird habitat are lost or degraded every year due to development, agriculture, and forestry practices. When habitats are destroyed or disturbed during the breeding season, nests may be lost or abandoned, so fewer baby birds are surviving until adulthood. Habitat loss also impacts the food chain. As habitats decrease, the available food also decreases, leading to a decline in bird populations. An example of this here in Ohio is the bobwhite quail, which is found in pockets of southwest Ohio. According to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, bobwhite quail populations have declined 71% since 2011, an annual rate of 11% due to habitat loss and changes. In order to fully understand these impacts and how we can help, we need to have the deeper understanding that comes from data.
Researchers can answer some of these questions with the help of bird watchers submitting data, and we can learn much more through looking at birds more closely through what we call bird banding. Researchers catch birds by using mist nets, very fine, almost invisible nets that the birds fly into. They're very carefully taking birds out of these nets and then bring them to a processing station. This is much like a bird going to a doctor's office for a checkup, with a bracelet with a unique number placed on the leg, so if the bird is caught again, they know where it came from. They also take measurements to see how young they are, look for any parasites, and lastly, they get weighed before being released back into the wild.
Technology is always advancing, so now in addition to putting on a bracelet with a unique number, in some cases we're able to put small radio transmitters onto the birds to track their movements. These transmitters do not impact the bird or their ability to fly and give us even more detailed information about bird migration than ever before. Each transmitter puts out a unique signal that's specifically assigned to an individual bird when it's attached. Antenna arrays which span across the United States are then able to pick up and record the signal when the bird flies by. This means that the bird no longer has to be physically caught in a mist net in order to get information on where it is and when, thus providing us with even more wide-scale migration data.
This data is giving us a better idea at where these birds are migrating to, how long it's taking for them to get there, the route that they're taking, and even helping to refine details like how long they live. Through this data, we're learning just how important it is to protect this natural land because they're being used like gas stations for these long-distance travelers. We're also learning that climate change is having an impact on the timing of their food sources.
Spring is a truly magical time of year when nature is full of activity, including our birds. During this time, you can see and hear a wide range of bird species in your own neighborhood that may only be here for a short time along their migration journey. Birds can be found in a variety of habitats. For example, mallards and ring-necked ducks are found in aquatic habitats like ponds or lakes. Or you might see an indigo bunting or a common yellowthroat in a grassy prairie or scrub area. Or maybe even a screech owl or gray-cheeked thrush in Ohio's wooded areas. Ohio is home to many different habitats, so be sure to check out the ones closest to you. And if you want to explore birds and their habitats further, there are a wide range of tools that can help you identify the sights and sounds around you. Binoculars are a great tool to help you get a closer look at birds, especially if they are sitting high up in a tree. Look for characteristics like size, color, unique markings, and even beak shape and size to help you identify the bird later in a field guide. When it comes to bird songs and calls, try to make comparisons to sounds that you know, like the flute-like song of the wood thrush or the nasally voice of the white-breasted nuthatch. Cornell Lab of Ornithology has an app called Merlin that can be a big help in learning bird songs and calls. You can turn on the app and it will listen to the sounds around you and identify the birds that it hears. It will even highlight the bird when it hears it again, so you can begin to work on recognizing it on your own. Or check out NestWatch. NestWatch is a nationwide nest monitoring program designed by the Cornell Lab of Ornithology to track the reproductive biology of birds. Participating in NestWatch is easy. Check out the link below for more information. For more information, check out the resources below on PBS Learning Media. This is a fun activity that will get you outside.
Thank you for joining us today. As you can see, Ohio's ecosystems are in full swing this time of year. There are wild things happening right outside in your own backyard, so get out and explore. See you next time.